Hi, my name is Bridget. I'm the lead artist on Pondlife. As the lead artist, I came up initially with a lot of the art style, concept art for how the game would look to get the feel right. There's a bit of making guides for the other artists and also giving feedback, and then also a lot of just making sure everything works in the game, getting things all together and putting them into the game so that if there's all the animations are working, everything looks good, and if we have to make revisions, I will pass that on to the other artists. At Runaway we have another game called Splash, which is about fish in a coral reef from the ocean. So for Pondlife, we wanted a very different look because even though it's an underwater game with fish, we wanted to really show that it's different and just do something different because it's a new game. It's a very green space compared to Splash. There's a lot of these freshwater plants, unlike the corals, and I just really like a green space. A lot of people do, and it's something I really want to bring into it. Calm and relaxing, sort of, even though it's an underwater environment, I feel like I really wanted that sense of a pool in the forest. I like forests, a lot of people like forests. This sort of kind of slightly warm atmosphere to it. I think it's, I want it to be kind of cozy and also a little bit more visually dark, but without feeling like a scary dark pool, which I feel like is easy to do because a lot of people have fear of swimming in water when it's dark. I don't want to do that, so it was interesting trying to strike that balance, because also a lot of people, myself included, like playing games in bed when it's dark and don't want it to be super bright. So yeah. With the fish, I really wanted them to be sort of have this friendly appearance, so they're not just sort of these, when you see a fish at the supermarket that's dead and you're just kind of that's a fish. But have them feel a bit more like they have personality and they're friendly and they're not a scary animal that's going to bite you or anything, and that you really want to care for these creatures that you have in your pond. Something cool about this game was we were able to explore not just fish but all sorts of freshwater inhabitants. So there are frogs in the game, there are salamanders in the game, which are very cool. I really they're not reptiles, but they're kind of like reptiles, so I really like those. My favorite species is the clown loach, which isn't in the game yet, but it will be soon, which is a little wiggly creature. And I also really like the frogs, very excited about frogs. They grow up from tadpoles, so I think they'll be very popular. It's always really exciting when we get a new set of species in the game, of creatures, especially if they're a bit different to ones we've had before. Often they need a lot of work, especially on something like the frogs, where they are a bit more elaborate than the fish. They've got all these different stages, so it's just really rewarding when we get them in the game and can test them and play around with them. That's always my favorite bit, I think. I guess just having a moment to sort of relax and just, it's kind of, these simple actions that aren't too overwhelming, and it's just, if you have a busy day, you can chill out for a bit. And also hopefully players might, I'm sure some players will recognize some of the fish species, but I hope also there are some where, they discover new ones. And maybe even some fish they kind of didn't really like that much. They are now oh no, that's actually cool, and not scary. And yeah, just care more for freshwater fish. We have a lot of freshwater animals in our world, and it's an important part of the environment.
anything else that you want to talk about at all?
Nope.
You're